Hello. I'm filming this video without my glasses on because there was a reflection and now I literally cannot see a thing. So if I'm not looking at you, I apologize. I'm giving it my best estimate as to where I should be looking. But anyway, if you're new here, my name is Adana. I'm a writer and this is my January TBR, the books that I plan on reading this month. It's not a particularly big stack, but I do think it is quite ambitious, just because I got so much going on this month. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Here's the stack of books. Don't look too big, but yeah, let's go. So the first book on my list is Dash and Lily's Book of Dares. This was actually my Christmas read, the book I took home that I planned to read over Christmas, and I got as far as, where's my bookmark? Train ticket for a bookmark, of course. I got as far as chapter 5. I did not do as much reading as I had planned to do over Christmas, so I do want to finish it, even though it is a Christmassy read. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's quite different from the series, which I love. Not different in a bad way, different in a good way. But yeah, even though it's quite festive in setting, I still think this is fine to read in January. Yeah. The next book on my list is a reread. It's one of my favorite books of all time. I love this book. It is Little Weirds by Jenny Slate. This feels like going inside someone's brain, but not in a creepy way, like in a really exciting, cool way. There's just something so comforting about this book. It's definitely a comfort book for me. It's so relatable, not in like many of the circumstances which she brings up in these various essays, but just in the human way that they feel. They just feel so relatable. I feel like she's articulated some feelings that I think a lot of us have, but in just such a weird, abstract way that somehow makes perfect sense. I can't describe it any better than that. I plan to reread. I've been rereading my favorite ones, which are kind of bookmarked here, but I am just like going in and picking up random chapters and just going through it. The letters in here that she writes to herself and her ego are really interesting. I love I love this book, and I come back to it all the time. I thought it'd be a really fun thing to start the year with, and just like, when you're in that reflective mood and you're writing down thoughts and feelings. So yeah, this is a 5-star read. If you've been thinking about reading it, this is me telling you should absolutely read it. It's a fantastic book. This next book, it is absolutely so this is wild, and I'm like getting excited just talking about it. Next month, I'm going to be chairing some events at Aberdeen's Granite Wire Book Festival, and I'm going to be doing an event with none other than Patrice Lawrence, who, incredible writer, children's book writer, personal hero of mine, and she was actually one of the patrons of the scheme that kind of kickstarted my writing career. So I'm just so excited to be doing this event with her, and the event is in the Children's Festival, and it's going to be focused on her book series, The Elemental Detectives, which I haven't read yet. So this is my plan for this month, is to read the first one, and next month read the sequel. I was a Percy Jackson kid growing up. I loved like fantasy that kind of bled into real life, and this one seems fun. It's giving, from the description, like Avatar: The Last Airbender vibes, like the 4 elements, but it's dragons and fumies and chads and magogs. They're earth, fire, water, air, and it's like them kind of coming up to the world, and these 2 children who are Maurice and Robert. I don't know how to pronounce that. Maurice? I don't know. And they are detectives, and they're like tracking down clues to find out what the heck is going on. And look at this cover. Look at this gorgeous cover. I cannot wait to read this. It's just gonna make me so happy. So yeah, and the fact that I get to discuss it with Patrice Lawrence at a book festival is even more just absolutely bananas. But yeah, I'm excited. And next up, one more fiction pick before my nonfiction. Last year I read my very first Toni Morrison. I read Jazz. That book changed me in such profound ways. I still think about it. Everyone's like, Toni Morrison was a genius, and I'm always like, yeah, she's a genius based on like the quotes that I'd seen floating around on social media. When I actually read it for the first time, when I read Jazz, I was like, no, how could I have gone my whole life without having read any Toni Morrison? Um, and initially I thought, I'm gonna buy the rest of her books. I already had like 3 of them on my shelf, but I was like, I'm gonna just buy all of them and just like work my way through them. And then I realized I really wanted to savor them, and just take my time with them. So my pick for this month, and I think I'm gonna take it slow, is The Bluest Eye. A friend recommended this one to me. I was gonna go with Beloved, which I still am, but I want to take this one first. I'm excited. It's secondhand, and someone has already annotated in it, but they annotated in blue, thankfully, so I'm gonna have a go in black ink. But yeah, I'm so excited to read this. I think it's going to be a really fun, emotional, just a great read, and I cannot wait to get stuck in. And the last of the physical books that I want to read is, hang on, it's got the charity shop sticker on it, so I'm gonna just peel it off real quick. There we go. This is a book that I started last year and kind of put down and never picked back up, not because I wasn't enjoying it, but life kind of got in the way. And when life is busy, I tend not to read nonfiction. I tend to just stick with fiction books. They're kind of easier to sit with. But Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. I don't know. And it's like about indigenous wisdom and stuff about plants and the earth and our relationship with nature. And from what I read so far, I know that this book is going to be, it's going to leave a lasting impact. I think for me, one of the things that I value most is earth and nature and spending time in nature and my relationship with the earth. But I think I still view, as much as that, like I'm West African, I was raised in a West African household and West African culture, but I grew up here in the West. I still think I have kind of Western mindsets that are very influenced by capitalism when it comes to my relationship with the earth, and I do want to change that. So I've got a couple books that I plan on reading this year, but I'm going to start with finishing this one. So yeah, that is it for physical books. I still can't see, I cannot tell where I'm meant to be looking. That is it for the physical books on my TBR for January. I did start, what's it called? I started the second book in the series, Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I started the second audiobook yesterday on my walk. So that I will also read this month. Good Girl, Bad Blood. I enjoyed the first book. It took me absolutely ages to pick it up. I had it as a physical book, wasn't getting into it, picked it up as an audiobook and loved it. So I have to return it to the library in 2 days. So I'm going to listen to this on 1.5 speed all day, basically. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. Different from the murder mystery of the last book. This one is a missing persons mystery, but it's fun. I'm really enjoying it. I think that's where I'm going to keep it for audiobooks this month. We'll see. I do have a couple on my shelf. If I finish that one and I want to read another, I think I'm going to finish How to Die Famous by Benjamin Dean, which again I started last year and never finished, and I need to return it at the end of the month. So those are my book picks for January. So yeah, that is it for the books that I want to read this month. That's a stupid way of showing you can't see them. This big ass stack. I'm really excited to get into it. But there's another thing that I'm going to share because I need accountability. I have decided that for 2024, I am not going to buy another single book. 2024 is going to be a no book buying year for me. Um, for many reasons, but the most being I got some new shelving, book storage, and I was putting the books on and I did a rough count, just kind of gauge by stack, of how many books I have here in this room. We're close to 300 at least. We probably have exceeded 300. I didn't do a very thorough count, which is a lot of books to have on one shelf, and that's not including the books I have on the shelves in the living room, and then that's also not including the books that I have at my parents' house, and it's not including the hundreds of books that I have on my Kindle. And I don't think there's anything wrong with buying books for future reading. I think, especially if you're someone who reads, is like a mood reader, you're gonna buy a book that you think you'd enjoy, and then when the time feels right, you're gonna read it. But I think my problem is I just kept consuming, and my output, that is books read, has not kept up in any meaningful way. It's been bad. And you'd think I'd have gotten myself into like a hole financially with the amount of books that I've been buying, but that has not been the case because I buy most of my books secondhand. And so I kind of kid myself, like, that book only costs like £1, £2. It's not like a big expense. And to be fair, it would be a lot worse if I had bought these books new and full price. I think I would have, I'd actually be crying right now. But yeah, 2024, I have decided to slow down and just go to zero and literally just read the books that I currently have and kind of get into a better, I don't know, habits when it comes to consumption of books. I was planning to give myself like a number of cheats, like 5 books that I could buy. And then I decided that like that's already me telling myself that I can't do this. And I very much can. Like I will probably show you some footage of the books that I have. It's too many. It's too many, and something needs to be done about it. So this year, I'm not going to buy any books. I'm not going to ask for any books, even on my birthday. It's going to be hard, especially in summer because I go to like book festivals and I'll go to like a talk, I'll hear an author that I've never heard of before, they'll be talking, and I'm like, yes, now I have to buy all of their books. And I can't do that anymore. So, yeah, I'm keeping my book goal the same as it was last year. My book goal for last year was 30 books. I read 54. I do want to keep it kind of low. 30 isn't low, to be honest. If you're reading 30 books a year, you're doing like a lot. But I do want to keep it quite realistic for me. I don't expect to read all 300 books on my shelf so that I can like buy more next year. I just want to keep reading at the pace that feels good, that feels comfortable, while also knowing that I can't buy anymore. It's gonna be hard. One of my favorite things ever is to like take a little picture of like the book stack that I bought. Capitalism has rotted my brain, I think. But yeah, it's gonna be hard. I also think I'm gonna rely on my library a lot more. Oh, I have 3 books that I haven't read that I need to renew at the library. That's what I mean. Like I just acquire books and I think this is gonna be so interesting, and then I just don't read it. So yeah, I think for this year I will limit myself to 1 book per visit at the library, or no, 1 book at a time at the library. 1 book per visit just means I'll visit every day, and just kind of slow my consumption overall. Just bring it to a screeching halt, and read more, but read of the books that I have on my shelf. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening as I shared my little TBR and also the reasons why I'm going to be doing a book buying ban this year. I'm going to put my glasses back on so I can actually see you. If you have a January TBR, oh, that's terrible, the reflection. Okay, if you have a January TBR, I'd love to hear about it. You can pop it in the comments. Or if you're also considering a book buying ban or just buying less books in general, let me know. I feel kind of alone because I'm seeing all these people already on Instagram with like their book hauls for January, and I'm like, I wish I was part of you. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.